A fascinating case to introduce you to some of the issues that we'll be discussing in this course is a case involving William Sidis. Early in the 20th century, there was a great prodigy, and at a very young age, he attracted national media attention. William Sidis was able to speak 7 languages at the age of 6. He wrote an anatomy treatise at the age of 5. He was admitted to Harvard at the age of 10. At the age of 11, he gave a lecture to a group of famous mathematicians. The news media was all over Sidis. He was covered in many different newspapers. He even made the front page of the New York Times in 1909 with the headline, "Harvard's Child Prodigy." With all this attention, what would he do? Would he invent something profound? Would he come up with a cure for cancer? What great things were ahead of Sidis? Well, when he graduated Harvard, Sidis gave an interview and said that he hated the media attention and that he was going to disappear. And he did. He vanished. We didn't hear anything about Sidis for years and years and years. And the decades rolled by with nothing from Sidis. Sidis was not doing anything profound. In fact, he was working obscure, relatively low-skilled jobs, and the only thing he produced was a book on streetcar transfers written under a pseudonym. So flash forward many decades later, and a series of articles in the New Yorker magazine. The article was entitled "April Fool." The author of the article had somebody pretend to be Sidis's friend, gain entry into Sidis's apartment, and learn about his life. And the gist of the story is that this great prodigy had amounted to nothing, that all his great talent was being wasted, squandered. And so ultimately, the article was saying, in essence, Sidis is a loser. Well, Sidis was furious about this article. He was outraged. He said, "I worked so hard to live in obscurity. I loathed the media attention when I was a kid." His parents had basically paraded him out to the public like a circus act, and he hated it. And that's probably what caused him to live in obscurity, because he really didn't want all this attention. He wanted to escape the media, but now here they were back. They came right back to him and wrote this story about his life, ruining his attempt to fade away and to escape from them. So he sues. He brings a lawsuit and he says, "You invaded my privacy. You wrote about my life and I'm obscure. This shouldn't be something that you print." This case raises many issues that I'd like to discuss with you. I'd like to discuss what you think about this case. Should Sidis win, or should the New Yorker win? Who should win this case? On Sidis's side, well, it is an invasion of his privacy. It exposes his life to the public against his will. But on the side of the magazine, he was somebody who had a lot of attention early on. People were wondering, whatever happened to this child prodigy I heard about? I was expecting amazing things and I never heard about him again. People are interested in this story. So who should prevail? And what factors should we use to make this determination? Does the fact that he didn't originally voluntarily bring himself to the public matter? That it was his parents that forced him into the limelight? And now that he was old enough, he could escape from it? Should we look at that as a factor? Should we just focus on what the public needs to know and what the public is interested in? Should that trump Sidis's rights? Or should Sidis control? Even if the public wants to know something, should a person be able to say, no, even though you want to know, I deny you the ability to know? How do we balance this? How do we balance this with the First Amendment? There's a First Amendment right to free speech. Is he of importance to debate and discussion to know what happened to this prodigy? Or is this something that we can restrict, that the law can say, no, we're going to stop this magazine from putting out this information? Well, isn't that stopping speech? We're going to talk about these issues because I want to hear from you what you think about it. So think more about this case, and we'll discuss it when we talk.